Welcome back to RacerXOnline.com. I am your host, Kellen Brauer, alongside Aaron Hansel. We are here in Seattle this week and inside Lumen Field for what was supposed to be press day, but of course, weather in the area, so they have canceled press riding. They have the track covered behind us right now. It's not raining at the moment. It hasn't really rained much today yet, but we do expect maybe some weather to come in tonight, maybe last a little bit into the morning. So Aaron, how much do we expect that weather to maybe change the dynamic of this weekend, of course, and especially when they lift the tarps off the track tomorrow, how much will the track change in the morning?
Well, you know, whether or not, this track always changes and it always gets beat. There's been some pretty epic races here, even without moisture coming down. You know, if the weather does come down, they're not going to get a chance to practice during the day as much as they normally would. That might throw them off a little bit. But that's just the thing about Seattle. It's always a wild card, Kellen. End of the season, getting toward the end of the season, it's always a chance for a shake-up in points. And with this soft track, the whole thing is basically a sand section, it seems like, some years. So it could get crazy tonight with those ruts.
Well, speaking of shakeups, of course, the 250 West class is back in action this weekend. Jet Lawrence comes in with a healthy championship lead, but we also have RJ Hampshire, Cameron McAdoo getting back to full health after they had injury sustained at Anaheim 2. Levi Kitchen won that Anaheim 2 race. He's the only other rider this year that has won a 250 West round aside from Jet Lawrence. And hey, look at that. We're in his home state this weekend in Washington. The rain might be falling. It might change up things a little bit. And if you're Jet Lawrence, the last thing you want to do is have a DNF on the card with a championship lead like you have right now.
Yeah, true. It makes me think about as Oakland, I think, in his heat race, he jumped that big quad for no reason at the end of the heat race. So, you know, everybody says he's got this thing in hand, and he does. But, you know, when he's doing stuff like that in the heat race, who knows what he might do on a track like this. So there's always that. If you're looking for that kernel of something that might happen, you know, behind him, though, I think it's going to be pretty exciting with Cameron McAdoo coming back strong, and RJ Hampshire, we saw what he did on the 450. So a lot of... I don't want to say uncertainty, but things to be excited about there as well. It's not just the battle for the lead, but it is going to be interesting to see how Lawrence plays it with that lead on a treacherous track if he gets a bad start.
And of course, lastly, we're rolling into the 11th round of the 450 Supercross class this weekend. 3 points in it between championship leader Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac behind him. And a lot of other guys that have something to say about the chance that they could also add their name to the winner's circle this weekend. Justin Barcia has looked great. Aaron Plessinger, of course, just missed that win last week in Detroit. Ken Roczen won at Indianapolis. And then Jason Anderson has looked good. Chase Sexton did win, though he was penalized. A lot of names in this hat. And it doesn't feel like it's just our two title rivals that are battling. Any one of these guys can come out here and win this weekend.
Yeah, it's been that way all season. You know, you want to say, like we were talking about with the track, I don't want to harp on the ruts and that kind of thing too much, but with this track, it's going to be gnarly. It could see a shakeup, but then we think about like Oakland, Indianapolis, that they were both crazy tracks as well. And, you know, things were kind of business as usual in terms of just everybody staying tight. So I'm going to be really looking more for, I'm excited to see what the Hill brothers do. Home race for them. They were both top 10. What was that spec that came out, that first top 10 since...
World War II or something. It's been a long time.
Since ever? I know we're probably disrespecting a brother duo in the past that's done that. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. They're both rolling, and this is their hometown race, and I can't wait to see what they do.
So that's our storylines coming into the weekend here at Seattle. We're going to cruise around. We're going to maybe interview some guys in the pits and see what the scope is here at Seattle at Lumen Field. But the track is covered, no riding, and hopefully the rain holds off and we get a good race here tomorrow night for round 11 of Monster Energy AMA Supercross. All right, Chase Sexton, we're here in Seattle. We checked out the track a little bit, and it's already covered. Obviously no rain just yet. But what do we think? If it does rain, are you excited for a little bit of a chance at a mutter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like tomorrow. When I looked at it, I said it was going to be fine, so I don't know. I raced here 2018 in the mud. I got second to AP, which was my rookie year, so that was obviously a good race for me. So looking forward to whatever the weather really brings us. I think the track's going to be soft either way, and it'll make it interesting. I don't think it's going to be quite as soft as Indy, but somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, we'll see with tomorrow. No, I don't think anyone's riding press today, so not going to be able to watch them. But yeah, excited, and I like the Pacific Northwest. I usually do good at Washougal, and I've done good at this place. So looking forward to going out there and having some fun.
So I know you said last week that despite the points penalty, you're really happy with the night because you got your momentum back on your side, as you put it. And going back and watching the race, you kind of walked through everybody. You had to pass almost everybody to get to the front. So do you look back at that and you're like, man, that was what I really needed to kickstart it again?
Definitely what I needed. Like I said before, I was really stoked with, even before Aaron fell, I was obviously catching him, but it would have been a little bit tough to get to him, at least right to his back tire. But even before that, I passed all the guys I needed to and put myself in a good position and was trying to just close the gap and put as much pressure on Aaron as I possibly could. Obviously, it was unfortunate he went down, and like I said, I've been in that position a few times. So, yeah, just want to ride like that more often. And I think I've really kind of narrowed down on what I need to do during the week to be able to perform like that on the weekends, and just try to replicate that this week. And hopefully we can go out there and have the same result this weekend.
Like you said, lastly, low expectations this weekend, but are you putting any sort of expectation on yourself, any sort of pressure of like, well, I know I used to race these guys, I kind of want to see where I fit in with them?
Yeah, that's hard for me. It's probably the hardest part about getting on the bike is remembering like who I am now as opposed to who I was when I was a factory Honda guy. So I don't really have any real expectations. Obviously, every time I get on the bike, I'm going to want to be the fastest guy on there, even though it's not a very realistic thing anymore. But I still have speed, I still have good flow, I still know what I'm doing out there, and I still enjoy it. So those are the main aspects I'm trying to focus on. And this is technically a home race for me now. This is a home race for Leisure Spas and Moto Concepts, my team. So a lot of employees and associates and a bunch of people that are affiliated with our team are here. So definitely want to make them proud, make them happy, and show my gratitude to them. But yeah, I just want to go fast, have fun, and set a good practice time, get out of the heat race clean, and survive the main event as best I can.
Well, it's great to see you back, and we'll see how you do tomorrow night.
Thank you.
First of all, I know you said you were sick, so that's why you sat out that round, but you also pulled out of practice early, just making sure you're okay, all good?
Yeah, I was fine there. I was really sick that week leading up to it. Didn't really get the time that I wanted on the bike to go race or full Supercross, and then the changes we were making throughout the day, I was getting less comfortable on the bike, and it was making more mistakes. And then for me to race that night, we were almost throwing a full new package on. So already a bike that I'm trying to learn, and then going to go out there and just be guessing on what it's going to do. We were like, look, it's not the case. And then actually I flew home and then got sick, even more sick. So then that next week was a bit of a struggle also. But yeah, now we're all good, healthy.
What do you think about it all? What do you think about the potential of a mudder?
Honestly, I know Dirtworks does a really good job with when it rains. I raced Orlando Supercross in 2021, and it poured like all night Friday into Saturday, and the track was amazing. So honestly, not scared of the rain though. Ready for whatever comes at us.
I expect it to snow a little bit. If it's not going to rain, it's going to snow. So it's pretty cold. Even inside the pits, I know that it's going to like warm up a little bit, but it's pretty chilly in here. So everybody is kind of just taking their time today because press day was canceled, and it was nice to travel yesterday anyway because we were coming from Florida, so long travel day. But Seattle is, you're kind of gambling on weather every year when we come here, and it's going to be a typical Seattle year. So I'm excited about it. Whatever that looks like, this is what we get when we come to Seattle.
All right, Fredrik Noren. Oh, Seattle. We know it might be a little bit muddy, it might be a little bit deep, but I have a feeling you might actually like that. What do we think?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, either way, it's a lot of fun. I would say, with ruts and deep on Supercross gets kind of hairy, but Indy was pretty good for me. I would say that. So yeah, whatever outcome we get as far as the weather, I'll just be excited to be there. So, but yeah, it should be pretty good.
So I've only raced here once, and it was 2018. Absolute mudder. Yep. Crashed on the start and got lapped before I crossed the finish line the first lap. I like the mud, but I've also had good races in the mud and also really bad races in the mud. So I don't really care, honestly. I think it'd be fun to do a mudder, so I'm kind of good with whatever.
Do you have a preference then of if it would you prefer it just downpours, sloshes the track, like you have to almost roll everything, or do you want it to rain enough that you can still jump stuff, but it's kind of sketchy to do it, I guess?
I want it to be 100% start raining tonight and not stop until I leave on Sunday. Can't jump. I hate it when it's sketchy where it's some of the guys hit the jumps, but they're really risky to do. Vegas in 16, I remember coming back from the heat race, and Millsaps was like, "Hey man, the triple was pretty hard, right?" And I was like, what do you mean the triple? He's like, "You didn't hit the triples, the big ones?" And I was like, "Dude, I was going roll. So I'm a big fan of when it's super muddy where you can't jump the jumps.
Yeah, if it is Indy number 2, then do you, I guess, go into it just like, all right, well, it's going to be rutted. We're just going to be paddling our way through some of these sections and hoping, I guess, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, just because Indy, like, you get to the pockets at the bottom of them, you just got to be careful you don't endo. We're not all 6'5" like Benny, so we can't just maneuver through it all. But it's not too bad.
I don't know. I'm a fan of the mud. I mean, I wouldn't be scared if it rained. So it'd be my first mudder, but yeah, I mean, mud would be it'd be interesting, you know, a little curveball in our program, but you know, maybe I go mix it up in the front a little bit. I'd be pumped on that.
Do you have any experience in the mud on a Supercross track at all? Like even when it's raining on a test track, for example?
You know, like, I mean, we're not really like, I shouldn't say we. More factory team stuff. Like you're really not like allowed to ride when it rains, right? But I would definitely like. I've been at south of the border the last couple of weeks, and it rained the other day, like all day long. You know how it is out there, Tommy. It'll pop up and rain, and we rode the next day, and it was like, it was muddy in the morning, and then, dude, by the end of the day, it was so perfect. Like there was ruts and, you know, multiple different lines. Like it looked like a racetrack. So I would say lately, you know, like it's been raining out there a little bit, so been getting some mud practice in just in case.
Well, with the rain in California, we have potentially rain this weekend. Have you been able to test on any sort of like muddy conditions, not like a muddy track necessarily, but with steeper transitions and things like that after a rain?
Yeah, we have our track in Menifee, and we're able to get out there pretty quick after the rain, and it's always a little greasy and stuff like that. So I've been really comfortable with kind of the greasy riding, and I'm ready for whatever comes this weekend.
Yeah, so are you looking forward to the potential of a mud race, or are you hoping it stays dry and you're just like, please no rain today?
No, I'm definitely hoping for a dry race. Like it's never fun to go out there and slop around, but if it comes, it comes. Everybody's got to ride the same track, so I'm not fretting either way. Like I'm just excited for a good race.
What are you looking for out of yourself in the second half of this season? It was pretty good up until the crash, I feel like, for the first couple of rounds. Are you still just trying to take one step at a time to get to maybe into the top 5 before the end of the year?
No, I just want to bring what I have during the week to the race weekends. I don't feel like I've done that yet, and if I can do that, we'll be sitting pretty good.
All right, Derek Kelley, we'll see him tomorrow. Thanks for the time, man. Thank you.